That's just the most beautiful thing that I don't know what this is.
Baby Factory is open for business.
Oh my God! We were gonna start a family. We were gonna be a family. I'm in so much pain.
The first movie was a movie about Deadpool finding love. This movie, Deadpool 2, is a movie about Deadpool finding his family.
I wouldn't call it a family-friendly film.
But that's where you'd be wrong. Deadpool 2 is a family film.
It's a beautiful story of really life and death and coming to terms with love and what it means to have a family.
We wanted to examine Deadpool and start to realize the consequences of his actions. The choices he made in his career obviously affected Vanessa and put her in danger.
I'm the asshole who got away. I killed every last one of them, except me. Couldn't kill me.
He's now on this journey to figure out what's his place in the world, who's his family, but also how do I find some redemption from this sort of self-absorbed asshole that I am.
And that is the most beautiful thing I've ever heard.
We love the idea of family, and in order for Deadpool to take flight and work as a character, you have to take everything away from him. You have to disarm him and put him in the underdog position and make him vulnerable. That's the challenge in creating the story, is that you have to put this guy in a position in which the audience is unconditionally rooting for him, even though he is the most self-destructive creature on Earth. And that's the fun of it.
One of the things that made Deadpool 1 popular was that while it was silly and irreverent, it also had a heart, and it had real angst and real grounded emotions.
Your heart's not in the right place.
What?
As much as I said looking cool matters, if all it is looking cool, you won't get a lot of mileage out of it. It's got to have meat on the bones. And the one thing that we invested so heavily in was creating characters you care about.
Is there a knife in my dick?
There's a knife in your dick.
The guy that can kind of say anything and get away with it. Those are the fun, real elements, but that can get exhausting, and you can't live in that forever. How many times can you say fuck, or how many times can you have a dick and balls joke?
You want to borrow a pair of pants?
Apparently a lot. Apparently a lot. Even then, you find yourself cutting them out, right? The key with Deadpool was, like, there's that layer that everybody loves, but you need this sort of heart and soul of the movie.
And that's kind of the secret sauce of Deadpool, is this emotional core.
And we really wanted to carry that into Deadpool 2. And so we worked in some pretty serious, dark plots.
This may not be family you want, but it's family you need. You have a good heart. It belongs here, where it can grow.
What did you say?
Your heart's not in the right place.
I think I'm in the right place.
Vanessa was the only thing that tethered Deadpool to a life of love and kindness and calm.
Wow, right?
She's the adult in the relationship, and Deadpool needs that.
You are not your father.
That was sort of where the idea and the theme of family was born, was if not her, then who?
Motherfucker!
Who is going to accept this guy for his flaws within flaws within flaws and take him in?
He needs to heal his heart, and he heals his heart by finding a family.
We need to build a fucking team.
One thing that's fun about it is that Deadpool fancies himself a bit of a solo operator, but with this one, he's really trying to put together a team.
X-Force.
We got this.
He's trying to figure out who he is in the context of the X-Men universe.
And he's trying his darndest to fit in. And he's even putting on an act to sell the idea that he's fit in so that he can go out on missions and go be an X-Man and not just be a trainee for the rest of his life.
Let me guess. We have mission. I know, you do. I'm ready. I'm not.
And yet, despite his sales pitch to Colossus that, hey, I'm a good guy, he just can't help but be Deadpool.
Colossus and Deadpool, they've always had this kind of big brother, little brother relationship. Deadpool's the bratty younger brother. Colossus always trying to lead him to the good side, just keep him on the straight and narrow. So that continues on with this movie. Colossus try to help out Deadpool initially and try to save him from himself. Helps try to train him to become an X-Men. I think that's ultimately what he wants. He'd love to have him as an X-Men.
With training, you can be X-Men.
You're wasting your time, shiny Jesus.
I think Deadpool also loves Colossus greatly, but he can't help but fuck that relationship up no matter what he does.
We have rules. Fuck your rules.
Of course, Deadpool screws that up, and you see the first real conflict between Colossus and Deadpool in terms of Colossus actually really losing his temper.
I should have lived in a self-pitying mess they found you in.
And really being ashamed of Deadpool and heartbroken from Deadpool.
You've let me down for the last time, Wade.
Russell, wait! He also has this storyline with a kid, you know, a child that is also a mutant.
It's Russell, right?
Fire Fist!
Look, oh my God.
One of the things we're playing with in the movie is the notion of Deadpool having to be a mentor figure or a father figure to a young guy, which is like the worst possible thing you could ever ask Deadpool to do because he's like the least responsible. He can't even take care of himself, really. So you wouldn't want him around your kid, and that to us was fun. Anytime you put him in a situation where you're like, that's the last place I want him, we're like, that's where we want to put him in the movie.
Breaking news at the Essex House for Mutant Rehabilitation.
So he's at an orphanage with this pretty creepy headmaster. It's not a very good place for him to be.
Those guys hurt you?
Who? The orphanage is full of young mutant children who all have extraordinary abilities. And in order to create a kind of cognitive therapy that stops them from exploring these abilities, the headmaster has created a form of torture.
He fell under the sway of an evil headmaster in this horrible organization that's essentially tortured him and tried to make him ashamed of his powers.
When you first see him, he's lonely, he's sad, he's angry.
I get it, right? You're scared, alone, you got no family. What? I didn't have a family either. You live in this dump? Well, guess what? I used to live in a shithole just like it.
Fire Fist provides Deadpool the connection to his old life in Vanessa. Vanessa and Wade were about to start a family, and what Wade finds in Fire Fist is a potential son.
You sacrificed yourself for me.
Told you I care about you. You're a good kid, Russell.
Wade wants a good life for this kid, and he wants to give this kid a family.
He's a lot like Deadpool, and he's a rule breaker, he's irreverent, he's got a foul mouth.
Come quietly, or there will be trouble.
You stole that from RoboCop.
RoboCop.
And yet, he's got a hole in his life. He doesn't have parents. He needs an adult figure, and so that becomes Deadpool.
Except Deadpool is just the worst father in the world.
It ends with me dying of cancer and you winning the Icebox Award for softest mouth.
It's sort of like an older brother, little brother. As soon as Fire Fist gets closer to Deadpool, he pushes him away.
Beat it.
So it's sort of like, oh, I need your help, I need your help. No, sorry.
Why are you protecting the kid?
I don't give a fuck about him.
But then he starts to bond with the kid, and he thinks, oh gosh, maybe this kid and I do have something in common. Maybe I can relate some wisdom to him, as unwise as I tend to be.
Kids give us a chance to be better than we used to be.
And yet there is a connection between those two. And I think Russell is that entree into Deadpool healing himself.
God damn it! I care about you, Russell.
And healing Fire Fist in the process.
Hey, Bear, it worked. Because of you. Oh my God. Did you feel that too? Only best buddies execute pedophiles together.
Cable, in this weird way, also facilitates a new thing for him, which is partnership. Because Weasel and Wade are not partners.
I'm here to help us gear up so we can go after him without me.
They work together, certainly, but I bet on him to die. In many parts of the comic book, Wade really fucks Weasel over, but they're just, the only reason they're friends is there's no one more selfish than the other one. But yeah, there's that theme of kind of, what is it like to partner up?
I need your help! And trust me, I'm even less happy about this than you are, but you unleashed the Juggernaut, you dumb cunt.
Cable is a stalwart of X-Force. He's the straight man to, Deadpool's madness.
That's why you never eat a raw starfish.
Where the hell are we going?
He's from the future. He's a soldier. He knows how all the mutants died. He's come back to save them. He thinks Xavier and Magneto are both wrong. He has a different method. Xavier's too passive. Magneto's desire to kill all humans is the wrong relationship. But Cable's motto was, come back, be a man of action. Don't wait to get things done. Get things done. Act immediately and act on behalf of the future.
Cable's coming back for a very benevolent reason, but he's also, like Deadpool, morally flexible.
This little fucker's too far gone.
Zip it, Thanos. We have a deal, and you fuck. We even put it in the coda of the first film, the after credit scene.
In the sequel, we're gonna have Cable. Amazing character. Bionic arm, time travel. We have no idea who we're gonna cast yet, but it could be anybody. Just need a big guy with a flat top. Could be Mel Gibson, Dolph Lundgren, Keira Knightley. She's got range, who knows?
So Keira was not available or interested in any way. So we ended up with Josh Brolin, which I thought was a really great, close, maybe third to Keira Knightley.
Cable provides a parallel emotional core to the movie. Deadpool loses Vanessa and Cable loses his family. And so despite them being very, very different, they're very similar. They're both broken and they both have lost something and are in search of something. They ultimately find each other.
You've only known these people as against each other. So when you actually see them work together, you realize that it kind of creates a whole energy and way bigger possibilities.
You got 30 seconds, you jabbering butt plug.
Now we're getting it.
I need a bus to get you all out of here. Orphans?
Meet
Domino.
Domino's a badass. She can go toe-to-toe with anybody, especially Deadpool and Cable, and she has a unique power.
What's your shtick?
I'm lucky.
Domino is lucky. That is her superpower, which Deadpool, of course, has an amazing fun time with. This idea of, is luck even a superpower?
But it is.
Okay. Deadpool's just like, you know, that sounds helpful if we were playing a wicked game of Pai Gow, but we're on a mission here and we need someone with real superpowers.
Once again, it all falls on my shoulders. It's why I'm good here. I'm in. I'm sorry, what did you say?
Showing Domino's powers of luck was like the most fun that the choreography team had. I mean, it was obviously the biggest challenge for the choreographers. There were a lot of things we were floating around in terms of like, okay, how do we demonstrate this power of luck? How do we make it interesting and compelling? But we kept going back to this Rube Goldberg idea that she does one thing that leads to a series of unlikely events that leads to the thing that she needed to happen right at a critical moment.
It's hard to picture, and certainly not very cinematic.
She doesn't put up with Deadpool's shit at all. She's just eye-rolling and just can't believe that she's involved in this ragtag group of fuck-ups.
She's sort of jaded, takes it for granted, and she's very sort of sarcastic and sardonic. Oh.
Cool your pits. They're growing back.
I'm talking about your face. She's doing her own thing, and she's coming into this storyline kind of from her own world. She's not really a sidekick. She's a mercenary, and she does the job and then heads out.
And yet ultimately learns that that's exactly where she fits in, you know, that's exactly who she is. And she too finds her family in Deadpool and Cable and Colossus and this whole group of what will eventually become X-Force.
I think we'd read like 30 different women for the role, and as soon as Zazie walked in, it was over. I mean, I think she was halfway through her first page of dialogue, and I remember looking over it at one of the other producers, and Rhett and Paul, and just going like, and Dave Leitch was just nodding his head in the back. Yep.
I mean, I cheered the day they cast Zazie Beetz. I thought she's perfect because who else is going to stand toe-to-toe with Wade and take none of his crap? And Zazie as Domino has done that, has achieved that, and then go toe-to-toe with Cable. It's just a great dynamic.
We need the code. Try 7?
Settle down, Captain Lucky. It's not going to be one number.
God, that's lazy writing.
Still got it.
Deadpool 2 doesn't have the traditional mustache-twirling villain. The villain is actually Fire Fist in the future.
You are healed by my hand.
We had an earlier draft of the screenplay where Black Tom Cassidy was the villain throughout the second and third acts. And at some point, we all looked at each other and we said, how badly do we need a real villain throughout the third act of this movie?
You killed Black Tom, you racist son of a bitch!
Because we have a lot of antagonism baked into the movie itself.
It works best when you pull the trigger.
Deadpool finally finds his place in the world in a group of dysfunctional folks that he fits in with and can look and say, yeah, I'm not all alone here in this world. There are crazy people just like me.
What do you get when you take 8 feet of chrome, 1 pinch of courage, a cup of good luck, dab of racism, a splash of diabetes, and a wheelbarrow full of stage 4 cancer? Answer, a family.
It's funny and irreverent, but also has a huge heart and compassion, you know, like Deadpool.
See? I didn't lie what kind of film this was.